Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the Forest.Season channel. Today I am going to go to Vernon Hills to this hunt prep workshop series, duck and goose calling with Porter's Outdoors. It's at this Sitka Vernon Hills store, and it starts at 1 and ends at 3. I'm kind of running a little bit late because I had to let this guy out. So come along and see what they have. Yay! Oh, I made it to the Sitka store. So here I go. And hopefully I'll learn something. And I'm super excited to actually try to hear more information about duck hunting and goose hunting. So it's my first time. So to actually learn more, and it's exciting for me because I know my stepdad said he'll show me how to, waterfowl hunt this year in Wisconsin if I am able to. So
as that changes in the mid-season, that everything changes. Once our local geese have been really established, right, and our local geese have moved around a little bit because of pressure and food, and you get some MVP geese showing up, and when would you say it really happens usually?
November. November, they get done.
Yeah,
they start getting stale. We start waiting, getting a few new ones in, and there's a lot of times we're in a pit together, and you can just tell they're coming out of that same spot every day. We know what line they're flying. Might shake a flag, might call at them, but we don't go hard on them. All of a sudden we look for something coming out of a different direction. Those are different. That's what we want. We'll wait for 2 or 3 months to come out of a different direction, because those are different geese that ain't been imprinted in the area.
So that is probably the one thing that makes the biggest difference. Hopefully Brian explained it. I think he probably did. So I'm just going to use Cougar Crystal Lake Farm for an example.
Yeah.
That's a great example, right? So over at Crystal Lake, we've got a farm over there that when I first got hired by Matt, he told me, we pulled into the field, and he says, if you could stack goose souls, one on top of the other, this thing would go to the moon and back how many geese we kill out here. Does not mean they're easy. And boy, is he right. Like that a magical spot when it's going good, and it's you want to start a 9mm, when it's not going good. Because those geese, those golf course geese live there, the Huntley geese live there, the Crystal Lake geese live there, and you get constant traffic across the field. And it's funny because sometimes there's 60-yard geese coming across the field, and you're like, those are killers.
Not even. And not they fly right by.
You can do anything you want, and those geese have seen that same thing for the last, as long as they've been alive, right? From the geese that goslings from this year to the adults that are 6, 7 years old, right? Well, they'll tell a funny story about that in a second. But so what Ryan's saying is, all of a sudden you get a group of geese that come just out of a different direction, right? Those are kitchen signals. Those are the ones that throw something out and you get them interested. You don't back off, because those are the ones that you're going to kill 6, 7 out of. You know what I mean? But that November lull, we call it November lull.
Slowember.
It's November, right? Up here, that's just what it is.
Cold mornings.
Yep.
Frost skies, frost, no clouds.
No clouds. Super fun.
You ones have been shot at the last couple of weeks.
Yep. And then we'll kind of the last thing, I guess kind of what I plan here is we'll throw the segments of the season out and then just open up for questions. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
So then you kind of get into the later season stuff, right? Locals are locals. They stay, right? The locals bring new geese. new geese are dumb geese, and dumb geese are fun geese, and fun geese are gay. Right? So when we start getting a weather change, we start getting migrators to really start showing up in the second. Right? You're waiting for that one Judy to do something stupid, and he makes the decision that, hey,
Gets them all in
like,
trouble.
I want to start riding the elevator. And then a couple more Judies do it, then half the bunch will start doing it, then they get down with you, they turn, they start riding the elevator down, and then all of a sudden you see mom and dad and all the rest of the adults hanging out, the bobs start to fall out of it, then they start catching up with them, right? And all of a sudden you get the little maple leaf thing that's going, you're like, oh good Lord, this is going to be a train wreck. Like this is going to happen. This is going to happen. At that point, the magic thing that you see, you're either going to lose them or you're going to win that battle, and most of it has to do with calling in that last 100 yards. Why is that? What happens?
Repetition.
Yeah.
Repetition, in my opinion, you just they hear the same thing over and over, or one of the adults does not, they see something they don't like and they keep on going.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Right.
Decoys, they're gonna figure out their decoys.
They're gonna figure out the class is real doggone fast, right? So at that point, then the gloves go back on once you've got them broken down and they're getting ready to finish that last 100 yards, right? Then it's all real nasty groundwork stuff. It's quiet groundwork stuff, right? Because you can always pick the tempo back up if you lose them, and more than likely you're going to spin the juvies back out, right? And and I guess what I mean by that, I mean, we're all goose hunters in here, that's why we wouldn't be standing here. But if you get those big bunches, let's say you're the 20, 25, or 40 of new migrators, and the adults start pulling them off the last thing because they know what plastic is, right? They've been shot at 17 times already. They start pulling back out. That's when you can hammer on those juvies on the back side of it. And you may drag that one or two back, and when those break, what usually happens?
You're going to kill those.
They coming back.
They're coming back. And they don't want it. You can absolutely tell mom and dad do not want to be doing this, right? Like, but kids are on the ground at 6 feet, mom and dad are back there at 30 yards, and you say, all right, let's pick a goose, kill a goose, go to another goose.
Yeah.
Let's wreck shop. Kill geese. Yep.
Sometimes too, you only might get one or two of those and the
Yep.
rest of them figure it out.
Yeah, they get ripped off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Once it mounts out a lot of times, I'll let that single go in and hit the ground, see what they wanna do. Sometimes just them seeing that one hit the ground, a few of them gotta come back.
Yep.
Maybe not all of them.
And to be honest, in the last few years, I think I've seen that change. I don't know if you guys will agree with that or not, but there are times when we get migrators now because we haven't had the big weather patterns that we've had, 5 years ago, right? We get a little rest of that. And last year, we just didn't get it. Where I live in south part of the state, we had 8, 10 inches of snow on the ground for a month, and we didn't have anything up here at the club.
Missouri got more snow than we did last year.
And
It's backwards.
so when you pick up migrators during that, it's generally because they're getting froze out of stuff more than anything else, right? That's part of it. But what Brian was saying is that sometimes when you do lose the group and you let that one or two hit the ground, they just let everybody else leave.
Yep.
Just let them leave. They're going to probably go find roost water somewhere within a couple
Close, they're gonna
miles,
be in the area.
or they're going to find a feed. I'll kill them tomorrow, right? I don't need to shoot these two while the whole bunch is in earshot. As soon as they're downwind and they're gone,
Kill the two.
kill those two. Yeah.
You don't have to burn a bunch to get them.
Right. So,
They're not getting any easier to kill.
would everybody agree with that? A canada goose is not getting any easier to kill? They're just not. So what do you guys think the contributing factors are to that? This will be fun. What do you think has changed in the last 5 years to make this tougher and tougher? Anybody? Weather. I'd say it's number one, right? That's number one, right? And I think this is just me being, subjective thoughts here. When these geese are hanging, I'll use Madison for example, right?
Mhm.
So the amount of geese up there has just been stupid in the last 5 years. In central Wisconsin, even all the way up in northern Wisconsin, outside of Oregon,
Green Bay area.
yeah, Green Bay area, all of it.
Still behind.
It's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Those geese are getting hunted hard. Like they're getting hunted hard, and we're not getting those broke up weather systems to where we started picking snow migrators up
Right.
in December, and then you get a week of it, right? And you kill the crap out of them, and then kind of get a lull. Then you get another weather pattern, right? And then you get a lull, and you get another weather pattern.
Right.
It's all been feast or famine last year.
Right, yeah,
Season.
do whatever works. Pay attention to what notes you do to make that reaction and try and replicate that. Don't do it over and over and over and over again because they'll get tired of that. But something as simple as one bird can change a hunt, a flock, everything.
Get them all.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was.
Okay. I guess another thing I'll throw out there, I'm gonna tell a quick funny story first. So we were talking about local geese that give you the middle feather, right? And there's nothing more frustrating than that. There really isn't. When you're hunting an area and you know you're seeing the same geese day in, day out, and you can't do anything like the Crystal Lake geese.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got a spot that's kind of up by Huntley that we hunted for eons. And I have never killed a local band. Have you ever killed a Huntley band?
No.
Out of either side of the road there? And
I
how
don't
many?
think so. Cary maybe is maybe the closest.
Cary
Maybe
one?
the closest.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you drive through Huntley, and all those geese at dealerships, they ban a ton of them there, right? We're literally on top of the hill. We're literally a mile from those geese. Tell me how you don't luck into a stupid juvie that got mixed up away from his family. Like it makes zero sense, right? So I hunt some stuff down on the south side of the suburbs, and this would have been about 3 or 4 years ago. And I had a 12-pack that shows up, and they break over the trees real nice. Like we get pretty aggressive with them. They all get stupid. We got snow on the ground, and just wipe the whole bunch. Every single one of those were 2 family bunches, all put together. They were all from Huntley. I killed 1 hour south, like they were the stupidest geese in the entire world. So sometimes it's not you, it's just the goose, right?
They know their territory.
They know the terrain, they know the playing field. This is part of it. So I guess the other thing I kind of wanted to cover was pitch, tone, emotion, right?
Yep.
So I'm the last guy that should be speaking about this, right? And we're gonna. Where's Andy? Andy can laugh at me for double read duck calls too. So, so I'm gonna say, pretty humbly that I'm the worst caller out of the 3 of us. I blow goose call pretty well, definitely kill a lot of geese. I would say I'm an exceptional field caller, but these 2 are absolutely ridiculously nasty. Like a whole different level, especially that groundwork, that guttural stuff, that emotion, that whine, like the spit stuff, like it's mind blowing. Sometimes it doesn't take that. Sometimes a single cluck that sounds like a goose kills a goose, right? And the reason that works sometimes is because the geese may not necessarily be hearing that, right? But what you can do to be different than everybody else, and if you have buddies in a pit, or guys you guys hunt A-frames, whatever, but you guys have a group of people that are hunting together, if everybody learns to blow the same way, and that's one of the things that I think is really kills start hunting together, everybody starts sounding pretty similar, right? If I try to copy the cadence and rhythm of style of Zach, right? Now we have 2 Zachs in the pit, right? And the pitch, the tone, all of it, right? Like the stuff that I'm capable of doing, I like to tease myself, right? But then you've got 2 of the same thing going on all the time. That difference in tone, pitch, and cadence is a giant thing, right? So like, if I'm gonna hunt with them, almost all the time I'm blowing that call right there. That's an older GK with Wade Rawlings, old broken in guts. Wade's a good buddy of mine. It's got a weird hollowy but still guttural sound, right? And it sounds very different than anything that Zach would be blowing right next to me, right? And you're just throwing them. Now you've got 2 different pitches and tones, if that makes sense, right? One of the things that happens is your buddies, when you start hunting together, you tend to follow each other. And I didn't notice it a lot when I was younger, right? It's like if you're going to repeat the things you hear all the time, right? Somebody starts throwing a triple cluck in there, all of a sudden, a year later, you got 2 or 3 guys.
Everybody
wants to do it, right? And like the skill set's increasing, but you're not doing anything to sound different than the next guy, right? And what I was going to tease about Andy, so Andy goes down to Arkansas with us the last couple of years. Actually, down there with us. Brian and I spent last half of January in Arkansas every year hunting the trees. And Brian, what's your duck call resume? You had a pretty big accomplishment back in the day.
What year was
The
that?
big one was 2001 Junior World Duck Calling Champion down in Stuttgart.
Brian can ring a single reed just about as well as anybody that I've ever been around. Like he is one hell of a duck caller.
Hands down the best duck caller.
Just nasty, right? And like I kind of laughed, it was been 3 or 4 years ago. For whatever reason, one day in the woods, every duck turned on that stupid double reed on a 5 or 6 note. And all I think it is they weren't hearing that in the woods that much. It had nothing to do with my ability, just throwing something completely different than they're not hearing, right? And when birds have been in an area a while, they get used to stuff. So
Absolutely.
Very conditioned.
very conditioned. But I guess open it up to questions. You guys have any? anything we can help or talk with or shoot the breeze or shoot the crap.
You guys want to move outside? You could blow some calls and.
Sure. If that's what you want to do, yeah. I don't care. All right, we can do that. We'll go wake the neighbors up. That's always fun, right?
Here you're probably driving police.
Yeah. We're getting a complaint or two?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they'll like it. If they don't, they won't. They'll be all right for one now. It'll bust out. Yeah. Like there's a designated area. Come on.
So I guess one of the very first things, just to go back to pitch and tone, right? So if you guys hear these, they sound different, right? They definitely sound different, but it's higher. So just go up like that is all the difference. So if we're together, right, how much difference is there between those two pitches, right? So what ends up happening, especially if you're single clucking or you're finishing geese, and Zach or Brian start throwing in, like we're bringing cadence down and finishing geese, right? And you're going to go and kind of just your groundwork stuff, right? What I'm going to wait on is I'm going to wait for breaks in that to throw a really deep pop into that, right? Just so it's something different, it's defined. Go ahead, buddy. It doesn't sound like much, right? It's real calm, but that's most of the time all that we've got going on when you're finishing geese, right? The worst thing you can do is just blow them out, right? So that calm stuff, right? There are times that I would rather have that real low guttural stuff, just the lower tone, as those geese are getting ready to put their feet down than the high stuff, right? So, what else do you guys want to talk about?
I think there's a lot of times where you got to read them birds, and there's times where they do want it quicker.
Yep.
To the ground, but not necessarily louder.
Yeah.
So there's times you see them birds, especially breaking down a bunch of high birds, and they're coming, they're eating it up, and they're getting smaller, their wings are almost. Especially breaking down a bunch of high birds, and they're coming, they're eating it up, and they're getting smaller, their wings are almost touching. There's times where the faster you go, the better.
Yeah, for sure. And those are times where sometimes 2 or 3 guys going makes a big difference.
Quiet and fast.
Quiet and fast. So I guess volume is a big thing that we haven't touched, right? So volume is probably I would say of everything. Okay, explain why. Yep.
Certain days, when you have calm days, you don't want to blow them out of the field. That's going to be too much. They're hearing that too much. A bird, it's amazing how far away they will hear the smallest thing. I've been playing around with this. I don't even know what it's called. It's like a moan, short stutter moan. On calm days, when they get over you and they're obviously looking at what you're offering them, but no idea what that is, I don't think. But they look for it.
You actually, because I've seen this, you actually see heads start turning. Like, and you're not blowing them out. It's not this atrocious thing that's hitting them in the face. Right. It's just like, what is that? Yeah. Right? What is it? And we're looking. Yep. Right? Yep. Okay. I don't know what else.
Can you run through all 4 or 5 different calls from comeback?
Right, and it's far out there on the other side of the building, coming over the trees. Get a little more excited on them. Simple. That's when we'll start. All of us kind of get in. Getting a little closer, getting excited, getting ready to kind of do it. Say, a couple of them saw they're not going to do it. You got to kind of bring them back. Come back, call. Another set of greeting calls. Now we're going to lay them down.
Yep.
Get ready, grab the guns. Kill 'em.
Okay. So, I want to talk a little bit about just single clucking, right? Because that's like probably the most, not only is single clucking just effective, but it's the one thing that almost everybody can do, right?
Right.
So when you get geese, we'll call it on a string, right? You're getting ready to, you got their attention, they're looking at you, right? Especially juvies, especially single juvies.
Early in the season.
Yeah, early in the season, right? The speed and cadence of this can vary, but even with two guys single clucking, can be really effective because it sounds like double clucking back and forth, which is when you hear double clucking, that's actually two geese going back and forth, right? So usually that's a mated pair. So as you've got geese coming, they're on a string, they're getting ready to come. The worst thing you can do is throw an atrociously loud pop in the middle of that, right? Why is that, Zach?
It's too loud.
Just hit them right in the face, right?
Too loud.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
There's some days where that works though. Sometimes, like if they're getting closer and they're more aggressive and they're getting tighter and tighter, just keep on hammering. Sometimes,
And that's where
not
speed.
all the time though.
That's where speed is the thing, right?
Right.
Not necessarily the volume of it. Would you say?
True.
Right? Yep. So, but as far as single clucking, a single cluck just. You just let them ride. It's goosey. There's not so much going on that they're picking it apart, and they get really focused on that. And one of the things you'll notice a lot of times, I finish geese like that probably.
Especially if you get a pocket back.
You get them talking to you,
Done deal.
it's done deal.
Yeah, if you got a single coming across the field, you can honk too.
Yeah.
He repeats. Just keep on doing that. Keep talking back and forth, and he's gonna get to a certain point where he sees you, acknowledges your spread, and you just. Basically what you did. I mean, it's shocking some days how well that works.
It's sort of the most simple, effective thing in the entire world. One of the things that I'll throw in there, though, is if you start them on that cadence, you start them on like a single clucking cadence like that, and you make a break in it, and you've got that bird on a string, like all of a sudden I dip my head down the pit, and I was like, guys, out front here, usually I'm pointing with my hand, like 60 coming, they're here. I look back up, and that goose is already starting to fade it off, because he's looking for that sound. Like he's following, just like you cast a line on him, and you're reeling him to you. And then you got to bring him right back into it, right? And hopefully he doesn't get jacked up. Other geese haven't pulled him off. Adults haven't pulled him up out of there. Yep.
And then what's the new lightweight hoodie we have in there? Is it the new duck oven?
They got a duck oven
The duck
light.
oven light.
Yeah.
That thing looks like it's going to be the juice. That thing is awesome. I think that's probably the best thing about this equipment that we have, that we're blessed to have with companies like this, is that season long now, you can add and subtract stuff, and you're going to have high quality equipment, and it's worth every penny. I can tell you that.
Socks, long
Yep.
underwear, your base layers,
Yep.
outer layers, the boots, everything. We've got it all. New rain gear.
What was that called? The rain gear? The dew point. They got
stuff?
top and
I've
bottom.
got one of the jackets.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah.
And I'd say the Hudson bib. Who here owns a pair of Hudson bibs? Probably most of us, right? So the Hudson bib, I remember when I bought them, the very first pair I had when they first came out, I was like, oh man, this is a tough pill to swallow. I'm basically buying a pair of chest waders that I can't walk out in the water with, right? I'm a full-time fishing guide, full-time hunting guide. It's like, I bet I'm in those at least 120 to 150 days a year. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's 100 days during the fall and all spring when I'm crappie fishing, anytime it rains. I guaranteed to stay dry, and you can't tear them up. Like, they're built, like, you buy once, cry once, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Buy good equipment and be done with it. So,
You'll never regret once you're out there that whole day wearing them.
Amen.
You won't regret it.
I've been wearing the summer stuff.
Yep.
Fishing on Lake Michigan. Yeah, it's awesome.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I just saw them land.
What's that?
Those.
Oh, it's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
SPF 50.
Yeah, no, they're
Right
awesome.
in.
They're awesome. They got the hood, they got the collar up here. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been.
Little breeze, they cool you down. Yeah.
And anything with thumb holes in them.
Yeah.
Like another thing that I thought was the most ridiculous thing in the entire world, right? Like, yeah. So I had one of the Fahrenheit jackets, that the older puppy style one, and I was like, this thing's getting caught on everything. I absolutely love it because I pulled through anything. You know, you're not all bulked up. But it's amazing how much lighter everything we're wearing now is compared to what I grew up wearing, right? Like you're not restricted anymore, and you know it's easy to swing a shoe. So I had a spinal fusion in 17, and I think most of it is just from being constricted in chest waders and tight stuff and heavy bulky stuff most of the time, restricting my movement. Since I went to most of the newer stuff, I move around a lot better. I know it sounds hokey, but
Around the woods pretty good.
Yeah, get around the woods pretty good. So, yeah. Captain Brian?
Yeah, we're good. You guys got any questions?
Any questions, feel
Come
free to
on
ask.
by here, or we'll be over there. We got some brochures.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, make sure you stop at the table. They do have brochures there too, so grab one of those. And shop around. I'll draw the bucket in a bit, probably like 10 minutes. So there's 3 prizes up there, and we'll call your name. All right?
How about your the August 23rd?
Yeah, August 23rd, we're going to have a season kickoff event here. So we're going to have speakers inside. We're going to have vendors out in that parking lot we're having blocked off. So make sure you guys check that out. They're coming back. BHA is going to be here. Delta Waterfowl, Ducks Unlimited. I mean, it's all online, but it'll be a good list of guys coming. So,
Nice job.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Hey, you
thank
guys are
very
welcome.
much.
And thank everybody for coming out
Thanks, guys.
today. So one of the first nice days we've had in a while. It's
Yeah.
nice to have you guys stop by and spend it with us. So thank you.
Not too hot.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Cool.
Alright, so I got back from that Sitka event and I got myself a t-shirt, a Sitka t-shirt that was on clearance. So, because, you know, Sitka stuff is expensive, but there's a reason why it's expensive, because it's gear that really keeps you warm. So, it was a quick event, but I had a lot of fun watching them do their duck call, well, duck or goose calls. That was exciting.